And hello everybody and welcome back to the stream, or if it's your first time here, welcome. Hope you're all having a fantastic Saturday or whatever day it is for you right now, and we are back. So, yeah, we're just gonna get straight back into of the Devil here. Been really liking this game, you all have been as well, so, and I'm also a bit late, so let's just get a moving immediately. So right now, we are speaking to the only witness to David Asher's death, which is this, who would have thought, another waifu who's very high up in the company, Noble, that makes the androids. Is this capturing? It sure fucking is. All right. Let's get back to it. So she just described that she believes that he did in fact kill himself. We're trying to prove that he didn't. And now we have this questionnaire as to what the fuck is going on. So let's take a look. You said CCE, standard operating procedure, a moment ago. What is that? CCE stands for counter-operative espionage. Or counter-corporate espionage, excuse me. Which is just industry doublespeak for corporate espionage. Only used in self-defense, you understand? So Noble anticipates employees at your level getting poisoned? They give us all kinds of CCE training. Oh, come on. Headphones. There we go. Subtly, of course, usually disguised on the itinerary as leadership workshops or psychiatric evaluations. They train you to expect to get murdered at these leadership workshops. Murder is fairly rare at our level. More likely they'll want us too sick to work. Let us drain company resources in a hospital bed while our position sits vacant. That's smart, like snipers purposely avoiding vital areas to strain the enemy's medical resources. That's an analogy that works. That's terrible, like snipers purposely avoiding vital areas in order to strain the enemy's medical resources. That's nothing compared to when they want to turn an asset. Feel ill for the rest of your life with an undiagnosable malady. Or become our mole and we'll send you the antidote every 2 weeks. Huh. That's a nasty piece of work. It's a nasty line of work. Consulting. I'm sorry? That's just what they call it. Can't exactly put corporate spy on your CV. So every consultant I've met at a cocktail party was actually... It depends. Did they say that they're consultants? Or did they say they were in consulting? How the hell am I supposed to remember? So do your people think that what happened to David was a deliberate attack? Noble's competitors have been trying to get to David for years. And that's the timescale their plans operate on. If this was an attack from a rival corporation, the company would have seen it coming. And they'd probably have struck first. Interesting. The cups. The cups! I've been curious about this ever since I saw the scene. Why the plastic cups? There's a story there. David and I got hired around the same time under similar circumstances. Headhunted while finishing our higher education. During recruiting, the company claimed to want us badly, but in practice, our actual authority was inexperienced and overpaid. You must have been extremely unpopular. You don't mince words. We didn't either, back then. We were loudly trying to convince our superiors that their entire sales model for androids was antiquated and self-defeating. The two of them made the one-point doctrine? That's not the story I've heard in Noble commercials and Noble-sponsored media. Ooh. And come to think of it, it's not a story I've ever heard from David himself. We had this deadline, self-imposed but still a deadline. We wanted to get our pitch to the president of international sales by end of day. 7 p.m. rolls around and people start filtering out. David still had his head buried in diagrams and sales figures. Imagine a technical man like him, a programmer, trying to make a sales pitch. The clock hits 9, and even the zombies start heading home. I turn to David, tell him that's not gonna happen. We're nowhere near finished, and the day's long since been over. He looked at me like I'm the only other person on a sinking boat, and I've just stopped pitching water, and he says, "The president lives on the other side of the globe. We've still got all night until his end of day." We wrapped up at 4 in the morning, just us and the cleaning staff. Back then, only half of them were ads. He finally sends the message, and I'm ready to collapse. I've got nothing. We stared blankly at his inbox for the next 40 minutes, hoping that the harsh light would give us the energy to work through the next day. And we got a response. It wasn't long, but it showed he was interested. I had been turned down so many times before then, ignored and placated, passed up and ghosted, but together, David and I, we had finally gotten a win. So David asks if I've got anything to drink. I've got a bottle of some swill and a cabinet at my desk, but he doesn't want to drink from the bottle. He says he wants to toast. So we sat there at 5:19 in the morning, toasting awful vodka to one another in cups we grabbed from the break room. That's cute. Toasting our first victory against the corporate beast. Between the lack of sleep and the drinking, the next day at work was hell. Sounds like a good memory. Plastic cups and liquor, that was our little ritual. David Asher and Helen Jung started at Noble at the same time and position. They would often toast their hard-won victories with cheap liquor and plastic cups in commemoration of their first big win, convincing Noble Electronics to adopt what became known as the one-point doctrine approach to Android manufacturing, emphasizing quality over quantity. Oh, and there's this as well. Yeah. That was our little ritual. So I didn't think twice when he presented me with my cup. It was ceremony for us. Jung's cup. Plastic cup with a small amount of whiskey left in it, found upright on the dining table at the scene of the crime. Saliva and fingerprints match Helen Jung. Contains no traces of foreign elements. Okay. History with Noble. As VP of Android Futures, you're David's superior, aren't you? That's correct. Didn't you join the company at around the same time? David was always more interested in his work than he was in climbing the ladder. He didn't like playing the corporate politics game. So he was unpopular around here? Not unpopular, no. Not the great Dr. David Asher. Misunderstood, perhaps. How so? He could be blunt, demanding, some might say. He wasn't trying to be, it's just not everyone could work at the same pace as he did for as long as he did. Even with the whole company huffing those inhalers, they couldn't keep pace with David. Speaking of which, I don't see any at Jung's desk. Maybe it's just not something you leave out in the open at her level. So you would say that his work-life balance was... Balance implies the two are at odds with one another. We use work-life harmony here at the company. Fascinating. So he was in harmony? No. David always had plenty of suitors, but he was never willing to put the time in. But I'm sure you're more knowledgeable than I am on that subject. Right. What do you mean? I had to help him draft a lot of apology notes over the years for misunderstandings and double bookings. Scandalous. Animate 16. The A16 only entered production this year, correct? Correct. Pre-orders started last holiday and we began shipping in the first quarter. I understand that you were instrumental in the success of Warm Androids. I played my part supervising the launch, yes. Weren't you the one who designed Synatonin? Oh, she's shocked by that. The factor that enables communication between synthetic and organic parts? I'm surprised you've heard of that. I did lead that project, yes, but that was years ago. At the time, Synatonin was little more than a novelty, a dead end. It wasn't until David took the reins on the A16 that we found a use for it. Took the reins? He was lead programmer on limb coordination, facial expression, exhaustion parameters, and he designed the synthetic nerves that made all of that possible. David did all of that? That's a lot more than just programming. Was he always so gifted in that many fields? Did he fill those roles on A14 or A15? No. He used to stick steadfast to his role as a software architect. That was his field of expertise, and he didn't wander far. But 2 or 3 years back, he started sitting in on other departments, taking notes. Soon he was joining the discussion, proposing new ideas, and eventually they came to follow his lead. Just like that. Just like that. So he just applied himself, and soon he was leading other departments. That's the kind of genius that Dr. David Asher was. Maybe they weren't paying him enough. Yeah, David sounds like a cool guy. It's too bad he's fucking dead. The company profited the most, of course, but the entire industry benefited from his vision and leadership. His loss will be felt for years. So this android, Sarah. Even Dawes couldn't find any real details on where it came from. We could revive him, build him better. Unfortunately, in this universe, they apparently do not use nanomachines for CRISPR, and therefore people do appear to be not immortal, which is very unfortunate. Maybe they need like another 20 years and everyone will live forever, but we'll see. Well, actually, no, we won't. It's not in any of our systems? I'm afraid not. Did David ever talk to you or anyone else at the company about a pet project? Pet? No, he never gave me any indication like that. And if he didn't talk to me about it, I seriously doubt he confided in anyone else at the company. David didn't trust anyone higher on the chain than himself, and anyone below him. Frankly, they couldn't possibly hope to give him advice. He never mentioned me? No, never. Androids don't come cheap. You never heard about him requisitioning parts or resources? There were never any discrepancies with his company credit card? The company's accountants are mirthless, even by industry standards. They wouldn't humor anybody. Not even David Asher. If they had ever detected financial discrepancies, there would have been an uproar loud enough you could hear it in the mailroom. You have a mailroom? Not since the 30s. Just a figure of speech. Wait, so in the 2030s, companies had entire rooms devoted to mail? In this universe? What? He couldn't have taken resources from the company without leaving a record. But no one would deny Dr. David Asher information. He would have been able to obtain all the necessary data to build his own android. Then, with enough time and money, he could privately purchase the raw materials himself. I don't understand it. It must have taken him years to build Sarah. He wasn't doing anything illegal, except the hacking stuff. So why keep it a secret? What if David wasn't sure which waifu between Morgan and Helen to pick? So he made a daughter and then killed himself and was like, hey, fight it out. Fight out the custody, you carpet munchers. Come on, go ahead. He's like me. have a child, kill self, because you already won. He kept it secret because that coat was Gucci and he stole it! No, there would be discrepancies if you stole it. Her coat is very fucking nice, now that you've mentioned it, though. You are absolutely correct. Her coat is great looking. What, like, I wonder if this is real fur. Actually, I hope it's not. Why keep it a secret? I don't know. But he was private and a perfectionist. Perhaps he simply wasn't proud of his results. Could be. Could be. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to me. Now we have her testimony. I'm sure this has been a difficult day for you. A difficult day for all of us. A message from Fran? I'm running out of leads to chase. That brat better have good news. Are you really going to take this to court? That's my plan. The circumstances may be irregular, but I'm still defending a client from a criminal charge. It's my responsibility to argue that he's not guilty of what he's been accused of. And is that what you believe? That he didn't commit suicide? Ooh. I guess I haven't decided what I believe. Interesting. Man, I'm 4:21 p.m. July 1st, 2086. I'm really hoping Morgan didn't kill him. It seems that the game is trying to tell us that she didn't, because a lot of what she's saying doesn't make sense if she did kill him. Or rather, a lot of her, excuse me, not of what she said, but her internal her internal monologue implies that she did not kill him. In transit. Would you kindly slow the hell down? I'm sorry, Adonai. I was walking too quickly for you. That wasn't walking. That was speed walking. Up 2 flights of stairs. It's very different. Speed walking? Sounds like a powerful technique. Is it like the Zhenjiao? Just let me catch my breath for a minute. Adonai, is it possible that you are out of shape? No. But since we left the cab, your heart rate has... I'm not wearing the right clothes. Or the right shoes. Is that so? Yes. Also, I didn't stretch or hydrate, and the sun's reaching its zenith. That would have been several hours ago. Do you mean the air temp? You said it would be a short walk from street level, so I prepared myself mentally for a short walk. Then you took off like a rocket, and you didn't mention we'd have to go upstairs. Are you sure this place is even back here? The reviews online were quite clear. It's worth the trouble finding it. Oh shit. Where are they going? I wonder. Maybe if you're a mountain climber. When I sent Fran hunting for a musician in David's circles, I was expecting them to bring me someone from the city orchestra or a jazz club. A champagne flute and teacup kind of musician. But this is the tequila and neon part of town. Ooh. It should be in view if we turn... Adonai, be careful. Of what? It's a stray, and it's bearing its fangs, too. It could be carrying diseases. You should... Relax. Is she gonna kill the dog? Adonai, it's growling. It's not growling at me. See? So it's just me that it doesn't like. Too much static. How do you get it to calm down? It's an animal, not a monster. It wants to be calm. Do you like animals? What kind of cold-blooded freak doesn't like animals? Well, I don't know, Morgan. You're a fucking murderer. You're super hot, but you're a murderer. Like, what do you mean? Oh, what cold-blooded freak doesn't like animals? Why would... Like, Hitler liked animals, bro. Do you have a pet? No, never have. Why not? Because I don't want to take care of a pet. That seems counterintuitive to me. Well, it makes perfect sense to me, and I don't need it to make sense to you. But you notice you're the only this talkative when it's just the two of us? Just an observation. You shy or something? Did David program you to have android anxiety? It's generally only appropriate to respond to comments that are addressed to oneself. Today, I have rarely been addressed directly by people other than you. In other words, you're shy. That is not what I... Can I try petting it? There's no law against it. 4:26 p.m., July 1st, 2086. Ultraviolets. Oh, boy. So David fancied a nightclub, huh? This is the establishment. Now to see if Isaac Porter is as habitual as Fran claims. Isaac Porter is like the name that they claim invented a brand of alcohol. You know, like what is it, like Jack Morgan or something, who is like the brand name for like some rum? Isaac Porter sounds like that type of thing. Do you think Father was close with this man who you've never met? I think he was close with him, yeah. At some point. I had some help making that deduction. Fran saw that their metadata showed a significant cooling of interaction between the two of them, particularly over the past month. But Fran also saw a phone call between the two last night. Ooh. Wow. Interesting. So they were close. Do you think they were sleeping together? Oh my god, Sarah. Oh my god, Sarah. Oh my god, Sarah. We just assuming that David was the gay type of femboy? Is that what we're doing here? That is completely inappropriate for me or anyone to speculate about. Oh, Morgan, are you jealous, Morgan? Oh? Oh, are you jealous, Morgan? Inappropriate? Adonai, it's only I'm getting a very important text message from my private investigator. Excuse me. Did you catch the killer yet? No. What the hell? I sent you his POS. I'm at his position. I haven't spoken to Porter yet. Anyway, there's no reason to suspect him right now. Lame. Surprised you're invested all of a sudden. Isn't David Asher a corporate sellout in your eyes? Everyone's a corporate sellout. But Asher gets respect. If I'm a demolitions expert, he's like a really good architect. Oh yeah, the hacker has to respect the person who creates the things that you hack into. That's almost sweet, I think. Asher started out working in Cube. So in the architect analogy, by today's standards, he's like, I don't know. As a kid, he built all his bricks by hand. Or something. You know that lit homework can help you with forming analogies? Eat this analogy, bitch! Did that come through or did the characters break? It's supposed to be a guy giving you the finger? I take it Cube is a programming language. What's special about it? Pretty much anything coded in the last 20 years is web-based. You code with the assumption that you'll always be connected. So you can depend on having fat libraries of references to lean on. And if something does go wrong, your errors get reported to you automatically. But not Cube. You can look it up. 60 years is more accurate? What you mean? Am I retarded? But basically, Cube was originally for robotics and, like, machinery. Stuff that had to operate in mines, under the ocean. Middle of nowhere fields with zero signal service. Almost everything is a website today. Yeah. Discord is a website. Yes. So Cube had to be self-sufficient. How rugged. Where'd Asher learn Cube anyway? It's older than dirt. Like from the 40s? I don't know. I think his father had a machine shop or something. Vague. Yeah, well, David didn't like to talk about his family. And I never asked. What do your private investigator have to say, Adonai? Not telling. Alright. Here we are in a fucking nightclub. The stage for the talent, pretty close to the floor. Guess it fits with the whole round table aspect of this place. Everyone's on more or less equal footing, dancing in the dark once you get past the bouncer. Do you think they might have met here? David and Porter? I can't see David walking in here. Because you found the walk so challenging? Because it's too loud to relax, and not dark enough to be anonymous. I see. What's that face? You got an opinion to share? The atmosphere's not bad in here, but the music isn't quite... I'll find you a survey to fill out before we leave. What kind of music does an android even like? Early 21st century punk rock. Okay. Is that just you, or does that go for all androids? I haven't met all androids. I can't speak for them. Wonder what they'd say. If they're smart, they'd say that the music peaked in the early 21st century punk rock. Oh god, this game is so fucking good. Debate settled. This is so funny. This game is so good. A bar, stocked full of colorful selections and busy bartenders. Hope this isn't the kind of club you can order food in. Only time bar food's any good is when you're drunk enough to forget the taste in the gap between chewing and swallowing. So you can, like, eat things? Yes, I can. What, like, android food? There is no such product. So what do androids eat? Online user guides for Noble's warm android models clarify they don't eat anything in a traditional sense. They get their energy from electrical charging, usually wireless. Whenever they need to eat, it's to replenish specific vitamins and electrolytes. Sounds a lot like what mod users go through with their sports drinks and energy bars. And charger separation anxiety. According to the net, warm androids can ingest nutrient-rich processed carbohydrate pellets if they need to forgo electrical charging long-term. Processed pellets? You mean like kibble? Like dog food? No, it's not like dog food at all. Can you buy it from the pet store? It seems that you can. Oh no! How is this something you have to look up anyway? Because I've always just eaten whatever father gave me. Like what? Marbled beef? Hold on. Never hydroponic. Never hydroponic food sourcing is a movement calling for the sourcing food exclusively from farms utilizing natural sunlight. Oh, wow. So, like, a lot of the food in this universe is not even made with natural sunlight. It's just, like, all in greenhouses with lamps. That's kind of fucked up. That's really fucked up, actually. Lobbyists for the movement have made unsubstantiated claims about superior taste or nutritional value, but the label has yet to receive official state recognition, and thus the presence of the term, or terms like it, on food packaging carries no weight and is not backed by any legal guarantee. one of a number of food source movements that arose in the later half of the 21st century as rising sea levels reduced the total amount of arable land around the world and shifted the global agricultural industry towards hydroponics and vertical farms. Rural skyscrapers where each floor is utilized for food production, saving on real estate costs and reducing the impact of unstable weather on agricultural output. Okay, well now that I think about it, that is pretty logical. That if the rising sea levels like fucks up the farmland or fucks up livable land, then yeah, you would want to start making food more efficiently than thousands of miles of farmland, I guess. Marbled beef, never hydroponic avocados, foie gras, that sort of thing. No offense, Sarah, but foie gras is fucking horrendous. It is one of the cruelest fucking food products ever. Like, I'm not a vegan, okay? I'm especially not a moral vegan. But there are certain meat products that are just completely unethical in every single context, and foie gras is one of them. There is nothing ethical about foie gras. It's not possible. It's possible to have ethical, like, meat farms for, like, a lot of stuff. Like, you can make animals happy before you fucking kill and eat them. But foie gras necessitates that you basically torture those animals. So, it's just awful. There's nothing ethical about it. I am not paying for any of that. Ah, there's a person to talk to, but before we do that, I want to make sure there isn't, like, a secret thing I'm missing. It seems that I am not missing any secret thing. That one over there, he matches the photo Fran sent. Should I approach now, or look around some more? Fuck! Better get a read on the room first. Is there... Oh, that's just pulsing. Wait, what just... Oh, here we go. Okay. What kind of reading material gets left out in a club? A tabloid interview? Okay. Exclusive sit-down with luxury. You've heard her name on everyone's lips, you've seen her face in magazines and commercials, and then double-checked to make sure the photos weren't labeled as edited. Now get all your burning questions about her answered here in our exclusive interview with the mysterious young woman who's being called, in perhaps the only truly unanimous vote on the vote the net's ever seen, the most beautiful woman in the world. Why the name? People think it's an ego thing, but it was just a random username I picked back when I was grassroots. Then it was a pseudonym to give me a little shade from all the attention. Now it's a brand, and I can't change it without setting the stock market into a spin, so... You're certainly influential. After partnering with you, Inti saw a 3,000% increase in share price. Yay, I'm happy for them, of course, but to be honest, it's a pain at times like this. She gestures towards her clothes, a plain white t-shirt and gym shorts with no branding visible. On anyone else, it might seem sloppy or even unflattering. On her, it only makes her natural beauty stand out that much more. She sounds based. She's just wearing a tomboy fit, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're so gorgeous." Maybe this future isn't too bad. Who are you wearing, by the way? Can't wear anyone unless I'm attending something. If I don't dress like this, all my sponsors fall into bidding wars every time I leave the house. Oh, never mind. Never mind, she's only wearing a tomboy fit because of business reasons. Never mind. Does it stress you, all that attention? Stress is bad for your skin, right? They say mine's flawless. Can't argue with that. So do you have a skincare routine? Any tips you'd like to share? Be a little bratty. Act a little spoiled. Keeps you young. How old are you exactly? Everyone's dying to know. 18 to 29, now and forever. CJ, how do you look at, like magazines with women in them and not just immediately be like, oh, I'm married to the entire world now? Well, however old she is or isn't, Luxury's got one hell of a mind for business. Might do her more good than that face in the end. Maybe. It's one hell of a face. In the meantime, she's kind of powerless because of all the, trapped between a rock and a hard place. If she steps out of line, her sponsors will bleed each other dry in bidding wars for her wardrobe's limited real estate. It's no skin off her back. She's already got more money than she could ever spend. But corporations can't afford to not keep growing, so they never reach a point where they can afford to lose. If she's smart enough to take advantage of that, good for her. Oh yeah, that's him all right. Looks like he's killing time before his sets tonight. Are you unsure how to proceed, Adonai? I'm sure that you need to hang back. As for me, I'll play it cool, play it straight. Play it straight. Isaac Porter? What's up? My name's Morgan. I was David's friend. Right now, I'm his lawyer. Can we talk? Depends. Were you a friend from work? No. Over here. Thanks, Isaac. So we have his bio. 183 cm, B+ blood type, occupation, musician and a bassist. Oh, man, that's really bassist of you. You bassist? Likes, itineraries, grilling, champagne. Dislikes, resistance training, producers, ads. The best at, gift giving. The worst at, folding laundry. Favorite quote, I don't do requests. Thanks, Isaac. Don't thank me in. I might just sit here, shut my mouth, and stick you with my tab. So what kind of lawyer are you? What kind of friend? I'm his defense attorney. Think you missed the bus on that then, yeah? And I'm a friend that needs to know what happened yesterday. Doesn't everyone? Try somewhere else, friendly lawyer. I haven't seen him in weeks. You might not have seen him, but we both know that you spoke with him over the phone yesterday. Only a short time before he died. How the hell? Isaac. It's pretty obvious that you don't want this particular spotlight to linger on you any longer than necessary, so why don't we cut to the chase? No lies, no playing coy. Fine. Sarah? Yes, Adonai? The hell? Is that thing transmitting? I am not streaming any data, no. Order doesn't seem to recognize Sarah either. One more person David was keeping secrets from. I need to record everything for the court. Fine. You two were together, is that correct? We were together. I ended it. Yesterday. Oh, shit. Okay, so David was a gay femboy. Alright, fine. Fine. Everyone's gay in this universe, I guess, except for Carlos in the in chapter 0. Everyone otherwise is gay, I guess. Wait a minute, he ended their relationship yesterday before he died? Did he? There's no way he fucking killed himself over a breakup. There's no fucking way. Nothing new under the sun. Care to elaborate on our entire relationship? Look, you can tell me everything once and I can get it on record. They grow babies in horizontal farms so they don't mix it up with plants. Oh god, they're like Kryptonians. They just grow everybody in tubes on horizontal baby farms. Or you can hear the same questions over and over again from 1,000 different cops and Megs for the next 3 months. We met in a bar. I had seen him come in a few times, each time with someone else. Each time talking with his mouth, but not looking with his eyes. It ticked me off. Scribbling on napkins and letting his single gin and tonic sweat onto the table for 2 hours. His dates would all go to the bathroom or take a call and slip out the back. One of them didn't make it at 10 minutes. And he'd still sit there the rest of the night, unfazed. Couldn't tell if he was oblivious or stupid or shameless or the most confident man in the world. And he ticked me off. One night, things were slow and my set had been canceled and his date hadn't even bothered to think of an excuse before bailing, so I asked him why he'd insisted on coming here night after night, just to ignore vapid people he wasn't interested in at a shitty bar with drinks he didn't like. And he just said, because I like your music. That's sweet. Man, did that tick me off. It was cute early on. Him being so passionate about work I could barely pretend to understand. And I liked that we gave each other space, you know? Felt like we were being mature or whatever. Until... there was no until. No one day where everything was turned sour. At some point, I started to understand where his priorities were, and how I ranked in them. Like I said, he was passionate about his work. I just wrongly assumed that he would also be that passionate about me at some point. So I pulled away a little, wanted to see if he'd notice, if he'd miss me. Testing him like that isn't the biggest red flag in the world. He never budged. I could ignore him for days and he wouldn't be the least bit ashamed to see me. If I picked a fight, he'd never get angry or upset. He'd just apologize. He didn't want to fight with me. Guess he was never invested enough to bother. Oof. It was my mistake. I watched him sit there all those nights, not giving a shit when people walked away, and still I had this stupid idea that somehow, for whatever reason, I would be different. That I would be special. But I wasn't. So I ended it. Last night. I called him, didn't expect he'd pick up. I had everything prepared to leave a message with an assistant or ad or whatever. But he answered. First ring. Without hesitation, shame, or awkwardness. And that ticked me off. So I told him exactly how valued he had made me feel the past few months. I told him exactly how insignificant I felt as the boyfriend of the illustrious Dr. David Asher. And what did he say? He apologized. And then he asked me if that was all I called to tell him. Oh, David. David. Look, I'm not even gay, and that is a level of negative autistic riz that even I can blatantly know is very, very unintelligent. That is very socially unintelligent. Holy fuck. Holy moly. Woof. I hung up after that. Spent the rest of the night wrapped in warm disdain for him and his coldness. He had made that easy for me. I went to sleep hurt, but clean, ready for something new. And then this morning I wake up to see that my ex killed himself not 2 hours after he let me walk out of his life without so much as a don't. What the hell, man? What the hell, David? And now, you're just the tip of an iceberg of lawyers and reporters and buzzards. Parasites who want to hear about the man who sent David Asher over the edge. I never wanted to be his last lifeline, or the straw that broke his back. I just wanted to be his goddamn boyfriend. Turns out that was asking for too much. Yikes. It's not yet to be determined whether David committed suicide. You serious? You serious? You don't have all the facts. And you do? Any one of them point to anything else? Thought so. Thanks for your time. I'll let you get back to it. That's it? No summons? The court has no need for you to retell a sad story like that. The court, huh? Sorry to bother you at work. Sarah, let's go. Your discography is very... Is that how you said it? Discography? Discography? I'm gonna say discography. Is very impressive. Yeah, thanks. And your range is remarkable. So it pained me to see that all your works in the last quarter have been so melancholy. Oh, she's been paying attention...
David made a gay baby daughter for him and Porter. Because remember what David looks like, and now you see the way Porter looks. Now look at Sarah's skin tone. David was planning on, like, trying to build some sort of normal life for him and Porter. Even made this prototype daughter that looks genetically similar to them and who likes his music. And he did it in secret because he didn't want Porter to know about it, because if any of the Megs know about it, then everybody on Earth would know about it, and therefore Porter would know about it. Holy shit.
Which means maybe David did kill himself because he realized that his work to try and create a more normal life for himself and his boyfriend was now just gone. I still want to believe he didn't kill himself, though, and that this story does not end in just Morgan losing and it being like, oh, he did kill himself. Oh no, fuck, I lost the court. Oh no. But hopefully, but that's an idea I certainly have. I think, well, what the hell would you know about any of that? What's the matter? Can't find the words? Need to steal them from somewhere first, butcher them before shitting them back out? I was not trained on any data sets that... Nah, pardon me. My mistake, really. Not your fault you're only standing here because rich prick nerds were allowed to rob the world blind for most of the century. Sarah, we're leaving. Ooh. And maybe that's the reason that their relationship wouldn't work out anyway. Because I think that if David brought this android daughter to Porter, I don't think Porter would have accepted an android daughter for them, even if it was some resemblance of a normal lifestyle for the two of them together. Because this man really clearly he is not happy with the establishment in this universe. And who can blame him, really? Especially if you're an artist. Like, imagine being any sort of artist or creative type in this field, or excuse me, in this time period. Like, you're constant, like, you know how everybody complains about AI art, like, nowadays. Like, imagine, this is 2086. Imagine how hard it is to be an artist nowadays. If anything, David is like, or was, he basically is this modern world, this universe's modern version of, like, a celebrity artist, because computers and technology are so vital that, like, knowing how to make them is kind of just the same thing as being able to make a work of art or a painting or a song or anything like that, because that's what the computers inevitably will do. So it must be very hard for Porter to exist and make a living in this universe, and so it's not even vaguely surprising that he wouldn't be able to stand any of this technology shit, And it also makes sense why him and David would probably end up breaking up anyway. Because if David did make Sarah for the purpose that I said earlier, and then he brought Sarah to Porter, like, Porter would probably understand slightly the gesture of it, but I think he would mostly be very angry that David would think that he can use an android to try and make their life more normal somehow. So in other words, it was doomed Yowie from the beginning. At least that's the theory. What the hell was that about? He was under the false impression that I was programmed using a massive automated learning model. A malm? Malm? An early 21st century... Not that. Why'd you talk to him? I wanted to... I just felt that I should say something to him. Then again, the thing that contradicts my theory about this is that why would he sign the android to Morgan and not to Porter if that was his plan? It could technically, it could maybe be that I'm only half right, and that he made Sarah to sort of look similar to, like, what if he and Porter had a child, but he wasn't necessarily going to present Sarah as like, hey, here's a normal life we could maybe have with this. Mpreg. Oh, God. I mean, in a universe like this, I wouldn't be shocked if that's actually, like, normal. Not just because of, like, this universe probably having lots of trans people, but also probably because there's technology that could do that for, like, biological men in this universe at this point in time. Because again, it's 2086 and everything is just neon and cyberpunk and garage punk shit, you know? So, like, I wouldn't be shocked if that technology was real. A word of advice: people don't want comfort from strangers, especially when they're androids. They want it from people they want it from. Coming from anywhere else, it's just corn syrup on a parched tongue. Doesn't matter how sweet it is, they'll just start gagging. You know a lot about people, don't you, Adonai? Compared to you, I'm a goddamn savant. Come on, there's not much time left. Is there still somewhere you want to investigate? Somewhere I need to return to, actually. Porter was right. As things stand, I don't have any evidence that could establish an alternative interpretation of the facts. But if there did exist hard evidence that could prove his death wasn't a suicide, there's only one place I could find it at this point. 5:16 p.m. July 1st. 2086. Noble Employee Housing Building. Oh, we're going back to Platea. Okay. So we're going back to the crime scene then. Okay. Oh no, we're going back to the basement where we found Sarah. Okay. The basement. Because the basement is the place where David went before he proceeded to die. He got this alcohol down here, which means there's something down here that might have a sign of what to do. Before we get to that, though, I'm going to go and refill my drink because I am dehydrated. All right, that wasn't very slow, so I didn't move to the other screen. Unlike if I had to use the bathroom. The basement. You sure you don't want another look at the crime scene? I'm all out of time. Gotta approach this from the other angle. The other angle? You know, inductive versus deductive, flip the chessboard and all that? Haven't you ever read a mystery novel? I've seen mystery films. Well, let's see if you paid any attention then. What killed David Asher? Poison. 10 points. There's a point system? Now, how did that poison get into his bloodstream? He must have ingested it orally. And how do we know that? Medical examiner found no injection marks or wounds. And if he had inhaled it? Inhaled it? Why? Leave the whys to someone who actually understands them. I won't be able to understand anything if I don't practice. Practice by answering my question. I suppose it's possible, but highly unlikely. We would have found a delivery system for it in the building, like an inhaler. Right, an airborne poison is either shoved in your face or sprayed over a wide area. And no one around David has shown any kind of symptoms. So all that's left is oral intake. Eliminating the impossible. What's next, Adonai? Jung's corroborated statement was that David didn't exhibit any irregular symptoms or behavior until he started drinking that night. And the police didn't find anything unusual in any of the food or drink in his home. Except for his cup, the results were inconclusive. Jung was drinking from the same bottle and the same type of cup, but didn't get sick. We have to conclude then that David's cup alone was poisoned. That all seems logical, and consistent with the police theories of suicide. So why are we down here? Minus 10 points. Back to 0? God damn it. There we go. David left the parlor and came back with whiskey and 2 cups. Jung told us as much, and apparently the cameras upstairs support her story. So we have to conclude then that he got them both from this bar? Better. 5 points. Did he also get the poison from the cabinet? The police have been in here since we left. According to their ARCS file, they didn't find anything that matches that poison down here. So the poison somehow went straight into his drinking cup then. I need to flip this around again. But if you turn something 360 degrees, you're just back to, if I were the prosecution, what would I want more than anything? Proof that David knowingly added the poison himself. He wouldn't do that. And you can make that claim because there's no video evidence to contradict you. How long was David off camera? From 7:36 p.m. to 7:40 p.m. when he left the parlor to get liquor from this bar. So he was off camera for only 4 minutes. So if we had David on camera for those 4 minutes and he on camera, okay, and he didn't poison himself in that time, he would have a perfect alibi for his crime. Oh, right. Oh, wait, so, well, but that requires that we find footage of David being here, proving his innocence. But Adonai, we don't have footage of that. There are no security cameras down here. I think there are. What do you mean? This whole building is coated head to toe in penumbra security systems courtesy of Noble. Every console, every corner, every android on every floor. It's all plugged into penumbra. We're gonna try and see if we found... Oh my god, what it... yesterday, one of my theories also was that Sarah was ordered to kill him and then was forced to forget. So... this might be going towards my theory yesterday where I thought, oh, maybe he asked Sarah to kill him for some reason. Except that. Oh. Or maybe, okay, maybe if I just continued, maybe I would have, That panel is manufactured by Cotter Security Systems. Why would David put a console for a different security system in exactly one corner of his penthouse? I've never given it much thought. Well, it's been bothering me all day, but my courtesy alone can't shake a 64-digit wall. Oh, yeah. Because of, like, there was, like, a code puzzle down here that we had no way of solving earlier. Also, I need to use the bathroom. I apologize, everyone. All right, here we go. But my curiosity alone can't scale a 64-digit wall. You mean signal hijacking, or whatever you want to call it? Have you tried it before? It is illegal and unnecessary. Father would not... He would not have installed hidden cameras in his own home. At the end of the day, I can't make you do anything. Well, actually, I probably can now that you're registered to me. But aren't you the one who wanted to prove his innocence? Eliminate the impossible. I will need your express verbal command. Not like David can press charges against us at this point. Do it. Do it! Power! Okay. Did you really need me to say that? For the purposes of record keeping, yes. I've gotten past the 64-digit code, and I have found cameras. There are a number of them embedded in the room's walls and ceilings. As you theorize, they are on a separate network from the rest of the building. Oh, shit. We might have footage of David not killing himself. Where are they feeding to, if not the penumbra system? Behind my hibernation unit. A false wall in the back of a safe. I don't understand. Why would Father possibly have hidden a system of cameras inside his own home? Beats me! He was brilliant, and more than a little odd. Throw in a little money, and odd becomes eccentric. I see. I think? I don't. The hell was he thinking? What was he afraid of? Why didn't he come to me for... You know what the vibe I'm getting? I'm getting the type of vibe from Morgan that if one of her genuine friends asked her to kill somebody, she would do it. And that's kind of cool, because that's like ride or die type of vibe right there, assuming that she isn't the murderer still. I think that all her internal monologue suggests that she is not the murderer. But like, that's what she strikes me as. Like she said right there, she was like, why didn't he come to me, aka, why the fuck didn't he ask me to do his dirty work or something? Time's short. Gather facts now. Leave the computation for later. And now let's examine everything all over again. What's the story with this anyway? Some kind of fault in the foundation? I don't know. I've never noticed that crack before. Might want to get those eyes checked. There's nothing wrong with my vision. This crack just must have been created during my most recent hibernation. Ah. How? Did David drop a weight? A bunch of times over and over in the same spot? Yeah, this was suspicious the first time I saw this. What did David even do with all this equipment? Dry his laundry? What makes you so sure he wasn't exercising? Did you ever see him use any of this crap? No, but he must have used the weights when I wasn't looking. That's interesting because I would have suspected that he would have been using these weights to test how strong Sarah is. Yeah, it wasn't for her. Unless what I said earlier is of him having Sarah kill him and then have her memories erased. Maybe he erased some of her other memories of like the weights. Or not. You think that femboy figure keeps itself? Not with like 150 pounds, no. I don't think he would look still like a femboy if he was constantly lifting this much weight. I think he would end up looking like a normal masculine man. Like, even if he was just doing squats to thicken his ass and his legs, he would still get thicker shoulders in order to, you know, just squatting, trying to use these weights. Did one rep to speed run it? Man, wouldn't that be so fucking convenient in real life? It's like, I need to lose weight. Give me a 1,000-pound bar. I will slowly lift it over the course of 1 hour, and then all of my body fat will disappear. That'd be so convenient. Since he promised me that he'd take better care of his health. Sarah, those weights are all maxed out. David couldn't have put up numbers like these even if he was piloting a frame. You know, now that I think about it, earlier in this investigation, we asked Sarah if she's capable of lying, and she said yes. I wonder if it's possible that she's lying to us about anything. You know, maybe it wasn't a memory thing. Maybe she's just lying about the murder. But then again, if she was, why would she ask Morgan to investigate it and prove that it wasn't a suicide? But okay. David couldn't have put up numbers like these even if he was piloting a frame. Don't be so sure, Adonai. Pardon? The following is a true story based on primary sources who were present for the event and its aftermath. Copenhagen, 1981, 8:10 a.m. local time. A towering man with the musculature of a world-class professional rugby player enters the global Danke Bank on Fredericksburg Lane. He explains to the bank teller that he has a bomb in his suitcase and that he wants his gym bag filled with unmarked bills. A security guard approaches him from behind with a nightstick and swings, but the man simply catches the weapon and bends it into a twisted knot with his massive, dinner plate-sized hands. I wonder if this is a real thing that happened. When asked to describe the suspect to the police afterwards, the teller had only this to say: that man was all muscle. The rest of the bank heist proceeds without incident, and the man exits the building just as the police arrive on the scene, when suddenly, his suitcase explodes. But it's just a smokescreen. Local officers quickly recognize the ploy and rush towards the door, grabbing each of the hostages as they flee while they desperately search for the perpetrator. What they find instead is a diminutive, frail, sheepish young man, barely 160 centimeters tall, holding a gym bag full of money with no recollection of how he got there. What? What? If this is a real mystery in real life, I wanna, like, watch a YouTube video about it after this. Renowned psychologist and trained hypnotist Dr. Werner Kurtzer wrote the following in his diagnosis: acute dissociative identity disorder. Oh no, it's Diavolo and Dopio. Oh no. That's right, the man had a split personality. And so great was the disparity between his two halves that when they switched control, he physically changed, became taller, bulkier, and capable of previously unthinkable feats of strength. So be careful what you say a man like Father can't do just because of how he looks on the outside. Sarah, every single word you said was false. Never mind, it was all fake. Huh? Don't believe everything you read on the net. She just believed a Reddit post in desperation to believe her father was a Chad and not a femboy. I gotta say, if you are a hot enough femboy that, like, the women around you start panicking and trying to argue, no, wait, no, he's not feminine, he has to be a Chad, you know you're doing something right with how well you are being a femboy. No, it can't be true. He can't be so feminine like this. He has to be some sort of secret Chad. The liquor cabinet this mystery hinges on. Those aren't femboys, that's a pretty boy, and they're always at war. War, love is war, or do you mean being sent to die in the trenches of the Somme war? because the British officers forced them to run at gunfire in order to cull all of the potential femboys from the population. What's the difference? War with each other over who gets the title of Supreme Twink. The police have been through it all by now, and they didn't find any foreign contents in any of the spirits. No poison to be found here. Well, not that kind of poison anyway. In which case, can I make you anything? Well, if you're offering, I'll have... Sorry, you're way underage, aren't you? 2 years old or whatever? Technically. Took that one a lot worse than I expected. Cheer up, maybe you'll find a mocktail if you climb to the top of the ladder. This is a rolling ladder, a kind of step ladder, not a ladder. What? Remember, a ladder extends, but a step ladder folds out. And it's important to know the distinction. I'd bet my life savings that this subject will never come up again, ever. Uh-oh, Morgan, you're gonna sell your entire house to this girl by saying that, you fool. So is that the original? It was appraised and confirmed to be genuine. At least he didn't get ripped off. I'm a Philistine when it comes to this kind of stuff. What does an android see? I see a meeting, or perhaps an encounter. Two apex forces of nature, two kings of the forest, the stag and the tiger. I think. Great, I'm officially less cultured than the robot. Alright, let's refocus here. So there's some kind of hidden door behind your bunk bed, huh? Essentially, though a bunk bed would imply a second or third, how do we open it? One moment. I see. Got it open already? I cannot open this door. Why? It's a Tethys Baxis Sturdicure. That anti-hack feature in the name is real? It's a closed system, Adonai. The hell am I supposed to do now? Strange. There was an if-then toggle enabled in the security parameters. I don't follow. When Father last adjusted the settings here, he made it so that the door would never open so long as I was hibernating. And then he made it so that I was the only one who could wake her up. Meaning this is a door that only I can open? It'll be a 6-character password, some combination of numbers or letters. Did you and Father have any influential moments in your life that revolved around a 6-letter word? Nothing comes to mind. Yeah, college is 7 letters. Pretty boys are masculine twinks. We call those ambushes. Nothing. Oh yeah, you know, you're right. Morgan is a 6-letter word. Nothing comes to mind. Is there a code word that he knows only I could learn? Oh. M-O-R-G. Was that your name you just tried? It's 6 characters, isn't it? Yes, but it's not exactly secure, Adonai. Anyone who knew you and your father were close could have tried guessing it. Was there something that only the two of you knew? A nickname? Pretty much everyone just calls me Morgan, but not everyone. It's opening! What was the password, Adonai? You'd never guess. Did feel a bit out of character, David utilizing so much cloak and dagger tech. And I've definitely been struggling with the idea of him doing home improvement. But one step in here and it all makes sense. It's a panic room. Scary. Panic room is a place for rich people to hide in when people start bouncing bricks off their windows. Ah. So this is like a storm shelter. They're typically not even on the blueprints. So when Noble built this penthouse for one of their executives, someone slipped this into the mix, and it's remained in Noble's blind spot ever since. All David had to do was repurpose it. Make sure you're capturing all of this. I don't want to miss my one chance because of a discovery technicality. I understand, but you needn't specify. My memory is flawless. I can play back visual sound sensations. I can even give detailed reports on air particulates. You mean you can smell? Better than any human and some canines. Man, Sarah is so overpowered. She could, like, crush a human skull with 2 fingers, and she has smell better than a dog. That's crazy. And she's a cutie patootie who needs head pats. I swear to God, if Morgan head pats her at all in this story, I'm going to be so happy. So does it smell stale in here to you? Stale? It doesn't to me. Almost like someone's been in here recently. Almost like someone visits here frequently. Alright, let's try booting up the computer. You don't think the console is password protected? 2 physical doors, a 64-digit code, a half-a-ton Android, and a secret phrase. If David set a password on his PC after all that, I'm going back to the morgue to have a word with him. He's gonna go to the fucking corpse and punch him in the face. You stupid, dead idiot! I hope the headpad scene is the most detailed and well-animated thing in the whole game. Bro, what if it was like a 5-minute anime cutscene full of fully animated versions of this art style? That would be so fucking cool. Good, it's already signed in. You're looking for camera footage? I'd also settle for a note plainly stating that he feared for his life. What am I doing? Here, you search for video files. They'll probably be timestamped and formatted for short-range devices. I have the subfolder. The cameras stream live data constantly, but the files are clipped at fairly regular intervals. Once every week, it seems. Most recent video file here has footage going back 8 days. It was accessed yesterday at around 4 p.m. You were asleep then, so the only person who could get in here at the time is David himself. Alright, let's see it then. Of course, it's just that I am having difficulty. Try double-checking? Double-clicking? Try double-clicking! I've been trying to open the files from the moment I discovered them, hadn't I? But they are encrypted. Damn it, David! You leave me enough clues to get this far, but you won't let me use your computer? What's the brand on the encryption program? If I rush a subpoena, they might have a backdoor I could bluff them into. These files were not encrypted with any commercially available tool. This appears to be Father's own work. Shit. If David Asher hand-wrote the encryption on these files, there's no one alive who could... Hey, was Dawes just flattering you back there? Or is your processing power really that special? Adonai, can you break his encryption, yes or no? With enough time. And how much time would that be? I would estimate at 2 to 6 hours. That's a 4-hour window. No matter how sophisticated, encryption is still just a code that must be deciphered. And when deciphering any code, progress precedes exponentiality. Which makes it particularly difficult to determine the amount of time required to complete the process. 2 to 6 hours. I don't have any better options. Get started. I started 4 minutes and 23 seconds ago. Finally showing some initiative. But you've been talking to me this whole time. I have the ability to analyze data in parallel by utilizing subconscious processes so long as the work required is rote. So you're doing it in the back of your head. Actually, I'm speaking to you in the back of my head. I could give the decryption process my full undivided attention, but I would become non-responsive. Hey, that's a pretty nifty feature. I'll have to keep that in mind. I'm talking to you with the back of my brain. Alright, can you take this show on the road, or do we have to rip this computer out of the wall and find a battery? I have copied the encrypted files and will work on them as we travel. We can leave whenever you're ready. Still can't believe David let me get this far just to shut the door in my face at the last second. But he did let me get this far. And the computer's not the only thing in here. The cabinets are a lot less eye-catching than his computer, but knowing David, that's all the more reason to check. Alright, I got D&D. Have a good one. You have a good game, my friend. And we hope to see you next week. Lots of paperwork, bonds, and holdings. A platinum bar? His birth certificate might be nearly as valuable. Can't imagine what people would pay to steal David Asher's identity. And down here at the bottom, a binder. Noble's logo in front and in the middle. Enough pages to dwarf one of these phone books you see in period pieces. They're masking it in a legalese even on the table of contents, but basically, this is his employment contract. A binder containing the full text of David Asher's employment contract with Noble Electronics. Details, compensation, grounds for dismissal, definitions for what constitutes a breach of contract, and how arbitrations would be handled. Not a light read. Oh man, don't tell me that Helen Zhang killed him because he violated his contract. Please don't tell me. Hold on to this for me. It must be very important if you're giving it to me. It's certainly very heavy. Was there anything else in there? Expecting an updated copy of his will to show up? It is a possibility, isn't it? Maybe in a corny old murder mystery. A widely beloved and respected genre with over 2 centuries of... There is something else. Your papers. That Evangeline Morgan would be given immediate and complete ownership of the android designated Sarah. It's dated to a few weeks back? Had he already made up his mind about all of this? If he had, why'd he hide this where no one else could find it? Was I just a backup plan? A tax-free transaction, fortunately. Well, at least we've got something a bit more concrete than Starling's word now. Her word should be plenty, shouldn't it? Not if people realize how precious you are. Oh, what a cutie. As a collector's item. Oh, what a bitch. We've yet to meet one person who knows what the hell you are, but Noble could have easily argued that you fall under private technology or physical holdings. Unless I had something like this. It's good that you do then. I'm glad that Father wanted me to go with a friend of his. Yeah. This'll get me a huge tax write-off when I donate you to a for-profit college. You could at least pick a charitable institution. It's just an old saying. All colleges have been for-profit since the 60s. Does she mean the 60s in 2060s or the 1960s? That doesn't make me feel any better. You can cheer up in the car. Hail us a ride up to the courthouse. Priority. There's an upcharge at this hour for priority transportation. That's irritating, but I'd like to have more than just a few minutes to prepare once we get there. The upcharge is a multiplier of 5.7. That's, fucking crazy. 570% more expensive? I'll prepare on the way over. Very good, Adonai. We're going to court! 5:48 p.m., July 1st, 2086. Does it excite you, going into courtrooms? What do you mean? You don't feel the tension in the air as the audience murmurs amongst themselves? You don't feel a fiery sense of justice rising in your gut as the prosecution smirks at your ragtag assembly of witnesses? Do you really think this is going to be like some kind of movie where the good guys save the day? Probably not. Though that would be nice if it were. This is so awkward. What's your deal anyway? Did David train you off of a movie marathon from hell or something? We did watch films together, if that's what you're asking, though he was rarely the one who suggested it. So you were the aggressor. What's an android get out of watching a flick anyway? What do I get? Why do you do it? What's your reason? I'm not sure how to answer your question. Never mind. Forget what I was I forgot what I was talking to. I like the performances. Sure, there you go. Got a crush on Humphrey Bogart or something? He is a handsome man. But it's not the actors I like as much as their performance. The truth is, besides Father, I have very little experience when it comes to people. I hadn't noticed. I read the net and I watch people and what they share with of their lives. But it's all so subtle, so hard to follow. There's so many unspoken rules that can't be taught, only learned, and I often struggle to grasp them. They're all so complex, so detailed. But the characters on screen are exaggerated, larger than life. The actors enunciate, their body language is precise and meaningful. Their faces are bright and softly lit, and their eyes are... It's fiction. So these characters and their stories, they have a beginning, a middle, and end. Autism, I was literally about to say that this is like autism. This is very similar to like Asperger's syndrome. And I know because I have one in my family. The people on screen don't ask anything of you except your attention. You can't disappoint them or make them feel awkward. You can just watch and learn. What about you, Adonai? What about me? Do you like movies? Yeah, sure, back when I was a kid. Really? Who was your favorite director? What was your favorite film? It was a long time ago. I don't remember. Man, imagine a world where being an adult means you have to completely give up every single vague hobby you have just to work for a corpo and get fucked over and become a drone that's addicted to inhalants. What a fucking world. Jesus Christ. No wonder, you know what? No wonder Morgan is a murderer. Maybe she is a murderer for no other reason that she just was bored one day and driven insane by how fucked this goddamn world is. And she's like, you know, I think killing people would just kind of maybe feel like something. State building. Floor 48. Things are quieter than I expected here at the courthouse. Though I've always felt courthouse is a bit of a misnomer. Government building is probably the best way to describe these towers, all-encompassing and impenetrably vague. 100 floors of officials and documents and paper-pushing queues, with a couple dozen courtrooms squeezed in along the way. Didn't think I'd be arguing in the court when I woke up today. Didn't think that my friend would be dead or that he'd have thrust an android onto my lap earlier. I read cues as queers. Well, there seems to be a lot of gay people in this universe, which makes plenty of sense. Overpopulation and all that. I could just walk in there and concede. Emma would be irritated and more than a little confused, but I could play it off as an exercise in grief. The android would complain, loudly of course, but I wouldn't have to listen to it. Now that it's registered in my name, I could probably just order the damn thing to reset its memory. But I haven't done that, and I guess I don't plan to. Why? Must be because I have my suspicions as well. It might have been Sarah. It might have been Sarah that killed him. He asked her to kill him and then had her memories partially erased. Sarah insists that David would never commit suicide, and I haven't actually stopped to ask myself whether or not I agree. David was rational, subdued, private, hard on himself, and not prone to emotional outbursts. So maybe that's why I'm finding myself outside a courtroom prepared to humor and add suspicions before the state. Because I don't really believe David killed himself either. What's your progress bar at? I can confirm that I am making progress. Well, shit, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But it would be difficult to summarize that progress in terms of a completion percent. Give it your best shot anyway. 4%. That's not good. Are you feeling confident in your case? Markedly less so after hearing that. Do you think the judge will be amenable to your argument? What are you talking about? Do you know the judge we've been assigned? Are they particularly lenient or strict? Adjutants are always a coin flip, so... You do know what an adjutant is, don't you? Are you expecting to see a bearded old man with a robe and a gavel when we get in there? Oh, fuck, they automated the courts. We're about to see a computer. Oh my god, the judge is gonna be a fucking computer. Oh my god, the law is dictated in judgment through an automated system. That's what we're about to see. Oh my god, that is so fucked. That is so fucked. Holy shit. Should I not? Adjutants are android judges, okay? Oh my god. God damn it, headphones. There we go. Adjutants, commercial name for automated dependent judicial models. Adjutants are automated dependents that preside over trials for the state. While most adjutants are designed and sold as software and then loaded onto courthouse-specific hardware, including android bodies, they can interpret trial proceedings and render judgment based entirely on stenographer records if need be, ruling on cases in an entirely digital capacity. Reviews of adjutants by third parties have shown that they are overwhelmingly more equitable and even-handed in their sentencing than human judges. Damn. Because they cannot be bribed or intimidated, adjutants are especially preferred for cases involving organized crime or corporate misconduct. Adjutants use a ninefold personality engram for rendering their judgments and building consensus, known as the nonary system among software engineers. Because each of these 9 personas are constructed by a different think tank or institution from across the political spectrum, ideological contamination in adjutant units is practically impossible. Ghost in the Shell second gig stole this idea 23 years ago. I have not watched enough of Ghost in the Shell to know, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was similar. There have been a small number of reported cases where nonary processing have borne particularly enthusiastic or eccentric personas. Presumably in an unorthodox, if not effective, attempt to reconcile particularly disparate opinions across their 9 constituent personalities with a single authoritative, loud voice. With the state's court backlog essentially cleared for the past half-decade, questions arose as to the continued need for adjutants to lighten the judicial system's human resource burden. But Senate Investigation Committee 74JD91 determined that removing adjutants from the legal system would be prohibitively expensive at this point. Bro, that's crazy. Oh, hey, we forgot to read about Cube, a defunct mid-21st century programming language. It's too late. We're off the subject by now, so. Adjutants are android. You know, I see the word adjutant, and all I do is think of StarCraft. So, like, my brain is amenable to this concept. Adjutants are android judges, okay? With all the authority that entails. I am surprised to hear that people are willing to accept rulings made by automated dependents. Rulings come from landmark cases in the higher courts. Those are passed down by actual judges, real people with decades of study and experience. But not every eviction case or traffic ticket that ends up in court requires years of legal expertise. Sometimes all you need is a referee and a sentencing algorithm. So androids are used to reduce caseload. Been that way for decades. No, headphones! There we go. But how was a law that replaced judges ever enforced? Wouldn't there be injunctions? Stalling? Judges did fight it for years at every level and in every theater. But the public lost their patience for that kind of obstruction during the 60s. Okay, this time she is definitely talking about the 2060s. The state needed to shred budgets across the board, and so judges that couldn't be replaced by years of legal battles were instead ushered into early retirement by the unrelenting force of our great nation's accountants. Wow, that is so fucked beyond recognition. That is so fucked up. And it's not controversial having machines determine sentencing for human beings? Whatever controversy there is, it gets aimed at the machines, not the people who put them there. And the machines can't lose sleep over it. Besides, it used to be that even the most high profile of crimes wouldn't get a court date until weeks or months later. Nowadays, most crimes are prosecuted within a single business week. And that's not rushing things. Keeps people in my line of work on their toes, that's for sure. I'm just surprised to hear there's so much haste. Don't they teach you about classical conditioning in android school? You gotta feed the dog immediately after you ring the bell. If punishment doesn't follow the crime in quick succession, the lesson doesn't stick. I see. But if adjutants are so effective, why aren't they used in every trial? Why aren't they used in politics? That's a logical question to ask. And the answer is, that logic only gets you so far when it comes to people. Doesn't everyone want the courts to be just as possible? Just as possible? If adjutants are truly impartial and incorruptible, everyone wants justice, sure, but there are other considerations to be had, such as disgust. What? That's all people really care about, what all their morals boil down to. Just what they do or don't find disgusting. Only problem is, everything's more palatable when viewed through a screen. So when everyone sees the world through AR and cameras and no one ever gets dirt under their fingernails, you'd be surprised what you can get away with. I don't understand. God, I need her in my life. She will kill you. She will fucking kill you. Yeah, well, therein lies the problem. So, at the higher courts, people desperately desire there to be a human judge that feels emotions over what they're doing. 6:24 p.m., July 1st. Courtroom 48D. I went to the park expecting it to be a big expanse of quiet nature I could quietly read in, but it was a massive area with cafes, a fucking Ferris wheel, and there were so many crowds I just walked around for a bit, then got overwhelmed and walked back to go get groceries and come back. Oh man. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sure that there are plenty of parks, like, in Japan that are absolutely like that. But I guess the crowded park, it makes sense in such a metropolitan area. It sort of must be interesting in the sense that you always hear about Japan and Korea having lower birth rate, but then you go certain places in those countries and there's just so many people you have no idea how it's even possible that they could have a low birth rate. There's just so many. I have a non-class on Tuesday, so I'll try another park. Yeah, okay, maybe it'll work that time. Or at the very least, if the next park does have people, hopefully it's a dog park and there's a lot of cute animals, you know? Alright. Here's Emma. Just a preliminary hearing, huh? You wouldn't know it from the look on her face. But I shouldn't have expected any leeway once we stepped into the courtroom. Not with her. Oh my god, is it the box? That's the adjutant? Oh my god. That's the adjutant up there? Is it asleep? Oh, no, that... Why did they make the adjutant a sexy elf woman? Why did they do that? Awooga is right, CJ. I am definitely on the Awooga right here. I doubt she passes the Harkness test, though. Actually, maybe she does because she has 9 personalities that all combine into one. It's loading. It needs to load. Don't be rude. Not every ad can afford to be decked out as extravagantly as you. Especially not those the state buys in bulk. There's an audience. You mean the gallery? That's nothing. It could have been a lot worse. Word of any trial in the case of David Asher's death must have spread like wildfire. Even a mock trial like this one. Detectives like Ray's or London would get chewed out for leaking things to the press. But uniformed officers have little to lose and a lot to gain by dropping a text to their attentive friends in the media. And then there's the corporate plants. Interns, usually, preferably ones with modded eyes. It's illegal to film inside a courtroom, but this is the year 2086. Things are gonna get out one way or another. Crazy 9-way bipolar disorder, or bipolar disorder elf girl. Oh god. That means anytime you're in bed with her, it counts as a 10-way. And you get to brag to all your friends about it. Man, I just had a pile of 10 women on me. You should have seen it, except I will not show you, even though it's probably recorded somehow. and then it shows up on like illegal Pornhub or something. I don't like having my face on camera. I don't like attention in general. But I'm not such a coward that I'd skip David's funeral just because there'd be a paparazzi outside of it. My pretty likeness was gonna end up in the background of some tabloid photograph one way or another by the end of this circus. At least this way, it's decent marketing for my legal services. What will happen once the adjutant finishes loading? How will the trial proceed? With all those films you watch, I'd figured that you could extrapolate. I'm asking so as to correct any misconceptions. Well, not everything you saw on the silver screen is outdated. The court will come to order, and there will be a clarification of the charges. The defense enters a plea, and if it's not guilty, the prosecution begins making their case. That means calling witnesses to the stand, correct? Mostly, sometimes they'll testify visually from a separate location. Or virtually from a separate location. Depends on the security concerns surrounding the particular individual and the case. What do you do then? Sit here and watch? Not if I want to get paid. I cross-examine witnesses after the prosecution are done questioning them. I can present evidence or witnesses of my own in response as long as I have discovery backing me. Oh boy. You've said that before. Discovery means just that I can pull stuff out of my pockets and present it without any kind of context. You know what's funny, guys? In StarCraft, the adjutants are also female robots that if exposed to a young boy will turn him into a robosexual if you're not careful. Just that I can't pull stuff out of my pockets and present it without any kind of context. I have to have proof that I acquired it legally during the course of my investigation. Most of the time, that means having recordings or witnesses that can verify my investigation, which I can provide. You didn't think I was letting you tag along because I liked you, did you? And the jury? I don't see where they would sit. The jury hasn't sat in an actual courtroom for years now. They have their own chambers where they watch a feed of the trial's proceedings in anonymity. And that's not an issue? Don't people want to look someone in the eye before passing judgment on them? You've got an old-fashioned sense of justice, don't you? But there's no jury at a preliminary hearing, anyway. It's only meant to evaluate whether or not the prosecution has enough evidence to go to trial. A mere formality in today's day and age. With tools like optics and arcs, there's never any shortage of evidence to work with. So all you have to do today is to convince the adjutant? Easier said than done. Adjutants lean heavily towards evidence over arguments. And right now, all the evidence suggests that David killed himself. If it's going to be an uphill battle, I can't afford to stumble. I need to focus on establishing an alternate interpretation of the facts, and it needs to be sold. But I don't have a suspect or even a motive for killing David yet. Anyway, I'll need to be sharp. Emma doesn't play nice enough for me to be anything less. I think it's waking up. Oh god, why did you make it so hot? Fucking Christ almighty. Why are all the female-shaped things in this so goddamn hot? It's bullshit. AD 84. This third lower court is now in session. Adjutant AD 84 presiding. I call to order the case of the people versus Asher. Do the people wish to make an opening statement? No, Your Honor. No point in bothering when it's just the adjutant here. Very well. Do the defense wish to make an opening statement? Not at this time, Your Honor. Might as well ring the bell and get this shit show started. If neither the people nor the defense wish to make an opening statement, then it falls to me to set the stage. My model name is Adjutant. My unit designation code is AD-84. I am a machine, an automated dependent, and I serve the state by presiding over trials. You might find yourself wondering, why? What gives a machine the right to judge a human? A fair question, but the answer is simple. In every culture, in every society, no matter how it is worshipped, enshrined, or deified, justice has one defining quality. Justice is beautiful. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I really hope there are no teenage boys watching me play this game at this moment, because they're gonna get corrupted and ruined the rest of their fucking lives if they're watching this right now. Like a balanced equation, like the golden ratio, like the Virtuvian man, justice is beautiful. So what gives me the right? This gorgeous bod! Oh, there's the multiple personalities. There's the multiple personalities. CJ, they can't all be your waifu. They have to be all my waifu. Because I am the one playing the game, clearly. Why not? I don't know, buy your own copy of the game and play it yourself. Whatever. Forget it. Forget I said anything. I was trying to lighten the mood, but I can see everyone hates me. Do the trial without me. They're guilty, or whatever. Your Honor... Wait, what the flip? This defendant's already dead. Why are we doing this? Is this a debug thing? 'Cause I'll log the error if I need to. No, Your Honor, this is a preliminary hearing to determine whether David Asher did, in fact, commit suicide, as he... I get it. You'll want to make sure he wasn't cuckoo in the cranium before you cut up his will like a T-bone. Hello, Nikki. You got here. We're gonna be done like in 20 minutes, 15 minutes or so. But thank you for showing up. Hope you're having a good day, a good weekend. I didn't realize that adjutants were so lively. They aren't. They're supposed to be austere and statuesque. Looks like we got served the most in need of repairs adjutant the court system could find. Whatever paper pusher we rushed to get this trial going must have wanted a little payback for the kindness. Ah, Eepy. The universal thing that every human can empathize with. Eepy. Is this Phoenix White? No, this is cyberpunk women in pantsuits that are hot version of Phoenix Wright. And we are one of the women in pantsuits. We're about to try and prove that a man did not in fact kill himself. What's that look for? Could it be you're trying to size me up? Wouldn't dream of it, Your Honor. Good, because if you have doubts about my ability to run this trial, I could always just enact summary judgment here and now. I'm sure you would find my ruling to be fair and even-handed. That won't be necessary, Your Honor. She's much more of a character than I'm used to seeing up there, even counting all the flesh-and-blood judges I've met. But she's still just an adjutant. She'll follow the evidence where it leads. So long as I can make a few adjustments for the occasional outburst from the bench, my plan's still workable. So, people, shall we get started with that first witness? It's Phoenix White with all my wives. All my wives. Right away, Your Honor. The people call Dr. Yumi Sato to the stand. It's Yumi. I gotta say, of all the female characters in this game, I think Sato is like most my style. Just an eccentric weirdo goth nerd. Hey. So how about it, pretty lady? You swear to tell the whole and unadulterated truth to the best of your ability. I do. Good enough for me. Dr. Sato, you were in charge of the autopsy for David Asher, were you not? The battle for the harem commences. Plead your cases. My case is that I am the one who is playing the video game. CJ gets to have them all in his version of his copy of the video game if he were the one playing it. I was. And when did you make your examination? I started last night. Well, technically 1 a.m. would be very early this morning. I think you can still say last night if you're talking about 1 in the morning. Objection! What the f- Emma, please! What are you doing, Emma? Stop it. Don't tell me Emma is like a Karen-type prosecutor. The defense will have their opportunity to cross-examine. Until then, they should refrain from making errant remarks. The hell? All I said was, yeah, what she said. You mean sustained? Don't get cute with me, counselor. Oh, fuck. Oh, wow, so just randomly they can take away my chips. Oh, fuck. Uh-oh. Being cute is my job. God damn, we've barely gotten started. That seemed pretty bad, Adonai. Halt. Heads up. Making mistakes will increase your blind. What the fuck does that mean? Oh man, okay. Blind is how much credit you'll lose for answering incorrectly when you are yourself aren't controlling the ante. Interesting. The only problem is that I don't play poker, and I've never given a shit about poker. So a lot of these terms, and a lot of the way poker works, I'm really just not fucking sure what the hell is happening, you know? Poker is fun. The closest I get to poker is when I play Magic the Gathering and I do politics during commander matches, where I have to bluff having a fucking counterspell or something. But like bluffing perpetually with money on the line just seems like exhausting to me. Oh yeah, you're right. It's just that because they're using terminology I have no familiarity with, I just not really sure exactly what to expect. Blind increments on its own throughout the trial as stakes get higher. Blind usually means the amount you have to put in before the game begins, right? But resets at the end of each day. Blind starts at and caps out at a higher number if you're playing in high roller. Mind the blind number in the top left when it appears. It helps you gauge what you stand to lose. Jesus Christ. Okay. Look at this adorable little, King of Hearts. That's so cute. I love that. Little chibi Morgan. I can't tell whether or not her blackened eyes are when she's being a psycho or if her red eyes are when she's being a psycho. I don't know. We should try to avoid being penalized in the future. Thanks for the tip. Shake it off, I'll get my chance to raise objections of my own soon enough. Dr. Sato, were you able to determine the cause of death? He passed away due to respiratory failure. Could you explain what that means to the court? Essentially, he wasn't getting enough oxygen to his blood. It seems by the time he arrived in the hospital, he was no longer breathing. What does respiratory failure look like? What are the symptoms? They would be lightheadedness, dizziness, fainting, pale skin, and a bluish tinge around certain extremities. And the condition he was in matched those symptoms. Correct. In your experience, what are the most common causes of respiratory failure? It can be caused by injury or disease, but the subject had no wounds or reported illnesses and otherwise appeared to be perfectly healthy. And what else could cause respiratory failure then? It is also commonly seen in fatal drug overdoses. Drug overdoses. Did you perform a tox screen on Dr. Asher? Yes, but his tox screen came back clean. Autoerotic asphyxiation? Oh god, oh no. He did just have an argument with his boyfriend while his former girlfriend was hanging out with him. Maybe that's what he was doing. She's not actually his girlfriend, I don't think. Unless that's revealed in court, which would be fucking hilarious. He's just like me. Wait a minute, CJ, you're a femboy that codes? Oh my god. How are you still single? Aren't there, like, human beings falling out of the sky to date you? Whatever killed him, it wasn't something we've encountered before. Wait, a clean talk screen? Clean? Clean? Halt, heads up, dialogue will proceed automatically during testimony, but you can still advance text faster if you want with space or left mouse. You'll need to read carefully and wait for the witness to make a statement that sounds wrong. Oh no. I am so fucked, guys. Then hit the call button to call their bluff. Testimony will keep repeating from the beginning until you call. Oh, okay, maybe it's not actually a time limit. Can't let this chance slip by. I need to catch her mistake the second it comes out of her mouth. Whiskey, David's contract. Upright cup. Yes. Then fainting. Okay. Something she said just now doesn't make sense. I have evidence that directly contradicts her, so I just need to find the right moment to present it. I think it's the talk screen thing. It's the talk screen thing. Or maybe it's that one. After choosing to call in a statement, you need to respond with evidence. Hover over 3 cards that show up, and left-click to make your choice before the timer runs out. That is, Opened your mouth without thinking, huh? There's only one room for airhead in this courtroom, and it's not you. Fuck. It's me. Of course, Your Honor. Oh no, I'm so fucked, guys. I don't know what to think. Like, this is absolutely true, no question. This is absolutely true, no question. He did it. We can confirm he experienced lightheadedness and dizziness. That is 100% true. The subject was healthy. When a talk screen was run, it came back clean. It was puzzling, to say the least. It has to be the health thing, and we're gonna cite the alcohol, because we could say he was drunk. I think that has to be it. Wanna bet? You're joking, right? Just trying to keep things light. But that's supposed to be my job. So quit scabbing. Overrule. What? No, I fucked up again. I'm so bad at this. I'll need to choose my objections more carefully if I want to get anywhere. I am so bad at this. Now let's save right here, actually. Okay. I'm gonna attempt this one more time, and then we're gonna be done with the stream for tonight. Let me, okay, I'm gonna, so we have the whiskey, where's his, okay, so, hold on. So it's the contract, the upright cup, and the whiskey. I need to, I want to read through these evidence here, so. It's the upright cup, not the whiskey. Right. Zhong's cup? Whoops. Didn't mean to close out of the whole thing. I don't know what his contract would have to do with fucking anything. As the subject was healthy. It was puzzling, to say the least. God damn it! I don't know! Is it the talk screen? Okay, let's call again. This is not, there's no way this is correct. Yeah. literally do not know. I literally don't fucking know. Unfortunately, that's gonna have to do it for tonight, everyone. We'll have to resume this crazy nonsense next week. Thank you all very much for joining me here tonight. I really appreciate you coming here to hang out with me. We will be back in 4 days, Wednesday if you live in the United States. It'll be a chill stream, and then next Friday, Saturday, we'll continue this game of the devil. If you happen to be new here and you enjoyed hanging out with us tonight, if you think I deserve a follow, I'd appreciate that quite a bit. We stream 3 times a week for approximately 2 hours. And this stream will be re-uploaded to YouTube tomorrow night, where it will join every single stream I have ever done. So if there are any you want to catch up on, you can find all of them there. Link is in the About section. And oh my goodness, I am not good at this game. I feel like I'm probably going to end up just looking up this first clue here to see if that can somehow jog my brain for when we do the other clues, because I have no fucking idea what the hell the answer is. Not even vaguely close. But yeah. Yep, I will see you guys next week. And again, if you don't mind checking out my main channel where I made a video about Arcane, that'd be super nice of y'all if you happen to be interested. But other than that, yeah, we're done for tonight, and we are going to be playing this game next week, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it, even though I am completely stupid. So, yeah, thank you all very much for being here. I appreciate your support in every capacity. I hope you have a good afternoon, evening, morning, etc. And I will see you all again soon with a chill stream, but then of the devil. Ciao!